All right. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this special edition of Focus on Liberia. This is our segment between the headlines, and we are honored to have the leader of the Movement for One Liberia Party and also the vice chair for fundraising of the Provisional UP Provisional Campaign Committee. That's Madam MacDella Cooper. Madam Cooper, welcome to Focus on Liberia.
Thank you, Dennis. It's good to be here with you.
And thank you also for coming. This is maybe two or three times, second or third time having you. We are glad to that you have honored our invitation to be here. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well. It's a very hot and sunny day in Monrovia, and I was just with the young people. They were out on the street having a fundraising car wash, and so it was wonderful, really wonderful.
Right. And some were they singing? What were some of their songs?
They were doing a car wash. So they were just playing, the DJ were there playing small music, they were dancing, watching the polka. Of course, they never watched any one of those cars very well, but it was a car wash. It was a fun music. So, but they weren't singing any songs in particular, but they were just having a great time out there doing some good.
Okay. Our reporter was in Banka and they were singing. And I couldn't get all the songs. So I was telling him, what are they saying? Tell us, because I like to ride there to see their energy and see what they do. I always intrigued by that.
Right. No, the Banga trip, I know we'll dive into it later on, but the Banga trip was incredible. It was incredible. We had the artist that made the Way I Must Go song. He was out there and they're playing all these incredible songs. It's like the tides have turned. And it was just so much fun, and everybody was dancing, and so it was a lot of fun.
Oh, great! But let's begin the interview with your political party, right? The Movement for One Liberia. How is it, and how did you come to the point of endorsing Mr. Boakai?
Right. Well, look, we're 90 days away from the election day. And we have a calendar countdown. We went from 100 days to 95, and now we're down to about 90 days to election day. And we are at a critical stage in our electoral process. We are at a critical stage in our democracy. We are at a very critical stage in our country's the next direction where we go, how we get there. All of those things are things that are tormenting us daily because of where we are. And so the Movement for One Liberia was established to give the unconventional candidate a platform to run for office without the headaches. Some parties just practice torture to candidates. And so we try to delete and remove some of those tortures and some of those, sort of horrible discriminatory way of doing business or doing politics. And the movement for One Liberia in this 2023 election has put up several candidates, about, I think, 30 plus candidates.
Okay.
Right. And so we have reached, I'm yet to be corrected, but I think we have reached our 30% quota. If we aren't at 30, we're at 29.6 something, who's going to count the negative 0.4, right? So we have done everything we could and can to make sure we have a balanced ticket, a balanced, list of candidates, and respect the rules, at least the rules that were put on the table. And so for me, the movement for One Liberia is doing well, and because we at a very critical place in Liberia's history, where we are, where we're going, how do we get there? It was only important that a movement for One Liberia, after a series of consultations, after talking to our our supporters, our friends, our everything, looking at the numbers, looking at what's good for the country, we decided to take away the presidential candidate's position and, take a step back and endorse Joseph Yeman Boakai, because he has the best chance of winning and getting out this government that's not working for all of us.
Right. And who all from your party are with you? Because normally some of these parties is like the executive or the top people take the decision. How was that reached in your party, and how many of them are with you now supporting Mr. Boakai?
We have a very sound-minded executive committee. The committee are fully behind the decision we've made. The committee, they're so excited. They're very excited because, one of the things we discussed for this election, Dennis, is MacDella Cooper was not looking for another participation trophy. MacDella Cooper was not looking for a trophy to say she's the only woman in the race. We've had that. That was 2017. And we want a real change for Liberia. And the executive also know that. They know how hard it is for Liberians. They know how hard it is just to drive from here to Roberts International Airport. It's no secret. Your car gets damaged. The economy is suffering. There are no jobs for our fathers, our brothers, and our sons, and even our mothers and sisters. They know the reality. And so when we came to the drawing table as executive of the movement for One Liberia, everyone across the table, there was a yay. We support the idea. There was no poll and talk. We knew it was the right thing to do, because now Liberia needs a selfless leadership, not just on the top, but from the top down. We need selfless leaders. And so for me to say, I will give my everything, my ambition, my aspiration, step aside and support Honorable Joseph Yeman Boakai, who is the choice of the Liberian people. The executive totally supported it. Till today, the executive was just in Magibi County. The executive was in Bon County and Niba County. They were on that entire trip to support this ticket with Joseph Yeman Boakai and Jeremiah Kuhn. And so there was no talk and poll. It was just, we all went in the same direction, which was wonderful.
Thank you. And we're going to get more into that. But before that time, you've been talking, and I captured some of these things you've been saying, especially when it comes to the direction of the country and the current government. Let me show you one of those quotes. You said Liberia is on an absolute retrogression. You say in one of your newspaper clippings that I found, let me tell you, Liberia is on absolute retrogression, which means we are moving backward with high speed because those in government have no idea, agenda, and plan as to how to operate and manage this country and its governance. President Weah's leadership lacks comprehension of what government is and how it should operate to benefit the masses. Since the first year of this CDC government, I knew that they had no agenda for this country.
Absolutely. I still stand behind that quote, Dennis.
But you endorsed President Weah in the second round. What changed?
Absolutely.
What changed?
Well, look, I believe in democracy. Democracy, as I define it, as most people in the world define it, is a rule that is for the people, by the people, and of the people, right? It is the people that defines democracy. with democracy, you got to get the vast majority of the people backing an agenda, a situation, a person. And in 2017, after Madame Sirleaf was leaving her 12 years or two terms, the Liberian people decided whether he had an agenda or not. They wanted Weah at that time. So did the Liberian people say, well, try this boy. This boy who come from Gibraltar, and he come from nowhere, from the trenches of our country, one of the worst ghettos in this country. He was elevated by the grace of God to superstardom. This boy will probably do some good for the country. Let's try him. Let's get a boy chance, especially after trying 3 different times. He tried for the presidency in 2017. 2005. I'm sorry. He didn't make it. He went one step below. He tried for the vice presidency, didn't make it. And eventually on the third try, he went for the Senate and he won Maserado. And so the people had, some hope that, look, let's give this boy a chance and see what he would do. Because this boy, he will understand the poverty. He will understand poor people's struggle. He will understand a child who ain't get my part to send it to good school. He will understand the struggle of the young people who are pushing wheelbarrows, the younger boys, the younger girls. He will understand the struggle of the poor people. So they say, y'all know we had a Harvard educated woman in there. And y'all see all the book people they enjoying like, bro. And at the end of the day, the Liberian people decided they want to give George Weah a chance. They give him the chance.
Did you agree with that? Did you agree with that? Or you were just going along?
No, it wasn't going along. You respect the will of the people. I ran in 2017, don't forget, because I knew very well that the person in question didn't have an agenda, I didn't see this person being successful at governance. And that is why I took the mantra in my hands and said I will run for office.
Right.
I competed in an election. It was a second round. Right. Mm-hmm. It was a second round when we, the political leaders, had to decide where we're going. And look, the people have already resulted. I put my name down. The people said they didn't want me. They didn't want this. They wanted George Weah. And no matter what I did during that time, George Weah was going to be the people's leader at that time. And so we, as these smart leaders, there are some political leaders that didn't support either Boakai or Weah. Don't forget, Alexander Cummings did not vote for anyone in the second round. He totally removed himself from the entire process and told his people, y'all go support whoever you want. And that is not the right thing for a leader to do.
We didn't know who he voted for because it's secret. But he didn't say who
he didn't participate in the election in the second round.
Oh, I didn't know.
He didn't make any endorsements either for Weah or for Boakai. He left his pucks to go on their own. Now, we, the brave leaders, we took our people to where what the people wanted. The people wanted a George Weah at that time. And so we endorsed George Weah in 2017. But again, I sat back for 1 year. I think you just read a quote. I watched this government. I watched them have no plan, create no plan to have this pro-poor agenda for prosperity. And they didn't do anything with it. They did identify a series of problems, but there were no tangible solutions to the problems they were identifying, including the alleviation of poverty, which was their agenda, including the roads. The roads are even worse than it was when they came in. Mm-hmm. They did nothing. The housing they built, Liberians cannot afford it. So did I support them in 2017 second round? I did. That was the choice of the people. Right. And this is why I'm here today to say the will of the people have shifted. The times have shifted. The people say, you know what? We tried Joe Weah now. What's something for him? The road medicine, they not road medicine. That medicine can work. That medicine was made in China. Right. We want Joseph Yima Boakai. And this is why you see someone like me will support what the people want. Because we must not forget, it is the will of the people we must support.
Thank you. I'm looking far down the road, right? Because you are, not because you are before me, but you are an astute lady. And so when you say I'm supporting this person, I'm sure you have done your homework and you've seen those things that you are looking for. Right. But to say, well, this is the person that people want, because I don't want 2 years down the road and you tell me, you say, well, Boakai was the person that people wanted. So I want you to look in the camera and say, these are the things that made me to take Weah, and these are the things that are making me to take Boakai, because 2 years down the road, I say, well, I knew, but that's who the people wanted. That's what I want to get clear here.
But Dennis, don't forget, it was in his second round. I
Yes,
ran. I
right.
competed in the
You
2017
even
election.
ran against him for senator, and we all know that he didn't perform yet because the
Right.
people wanted him. You went alone.
Well,
That's
no, it's not going along. It was between the rock and the hard place. Maybe you would say it that way, but it wasn't really a rock and a hard
poison
place.
and
But
jolobo. They say
what is it? What is it?
poison or jolobo.
I would take Jolobo any day. Jolobo is actually quite good, and it's good for us. But no, here's the thing: I ran in 2017 against George Weah.
Right.
If I thought George Weah was a better choice, I wouldn't have competed against him. It wasn't until the second round and the writings were on the wall. I didn't make the decision. It was the people that made a decision, just as it is the people today that have
Right.
decided Joseph Yima Boakai is the candidate of their choice. It is Liberia's next president. The people have already spoken. And there's
Really?
nothing either of us can do about it. And here's a difference between the two.
Yes, I want to hear that.
I'm not running against Joseph Boakai in this election. I am standing back to give Joseph Yima Boakai the platform to run because I have read his agenda for Liberia. I have seen his track record in being in leadership for 40 years. I've seen this man is not about himself. And again, let me make a full disclosure that I'm not the spokesperson
Right.
or I was never asked to speak on behalf of the campaign. I'm speaking as an independent individual that happens to be a member of the team, but I'm not the spokesperson. Mo Ali, the former Secretary General of the Unity Party, is our official spokesperson for the rescue campaign. So I speak in my own capacity. I don't speak on behalf of the rescue campaign.
Understood.
Now, with that said, I am not running against Joseph Boakai in this election because it's clear this man is the right choice for Liberia. And we need Joseph Boakai in this moment as our next president. There are some of us who follow statistics, we follow intelligence. We don't make decisions just out of emotion, and we read the numbers on the books. And so with the intelligence report, with the numbers from the polling, the national public opinions, and the statistics, we follow certain information that has yielded my decision to support Boakai, not in the second round, but the first round, because although we're fighting for one round victory, if there's a chance we go to the second round, we're gonna beat this thing like they call it the market rule.
Right. I'm glad you didn't say dog because I just got a dog. So if you said that, I would be hurt.
I have 4 dogs in my yard. I'm a dog lover.
Right. So let me. You were heard saying this about Mr. Boakai, and I'm trying to paraphrase here. You said Boakai is old. He does not have the strength to solve the problems facing Liberia. Uncle Joe must leave it for the younger generation. You were on one of the social network being interviewed, and you said this. Do you still believe that?
Look, here's a song I like to sing. Whether he's old or not, whether he got stand in hot or not, whether he's our next president, he's a much better option than Weah. I coined a song the other day. We're in district number 13. I will share that song with you. The song goes, and it's a famous hymnal from the songbook in the churches. It says, "I'd rather have Boakai than Weah. Weah has stolen all the silver and gold." Look, the reality is, Joseph Boakai might be older than what we expected for someone just coming into the presidency, but I'd much rather have Joseph Boakai as my president than George Weah. And that's how the people in the country feel right now.
Right. But what changed from the time you made that statement to now?
It's getting to know the man, getting to know the person behind the older gentleman you see. I've had a chance to sit with him, converse with him, understand and speak to him directly as to what his agenda is for this country. On the economy, he talks about the economy, he talks about healthcare, education, all of the low-hanging fruits that I was speaking about. And he is serious about this, just as all of us will follow him. And again, I don't want to mention names because I'm not authorized to speak on their behalf, but you've seen the rescue campaign team They're all the brightest minds in the country. Those who connects with the masses and those who might be, the legal minds, the strategic minds. We have all of the best in the room. It's not just MacDella Cooper in her own, following intelligence report, national opinion polls, the surveys, and all these reports that's coming out. It's more than MacDella Cooper. Joseph Boakai, once you sit with this gentleman, you understand he does have a heart for Liberia. He does want real change. And he really has the smarts, the education, the experience, which our current president does not have. Unfortunately, he doesn't. He doesn't have the experience. He doesn't have the education. He doesn't have the political will to get things done. And this is no insult to the president's intellectual capacity. But what I don't have, I will hire those individuals to support me in those areas where I'm lacking. And this is what the difference that sets Joseph Boakai apart from George Weah. If I may make the comparison, since you brought up the idea that, or the question that I previously supported Weah. I supported Weah because it was the choice of the people. The writing was on the wall. People wanted to try him out. Even if he didn't have an agenda, or he did, they wanted him. Today, we have someone who has an agenda, and he's a desire of the people. Look, this is an icing on the cake, a complete icing on the cake.
So you spoke at that time from an uninformed position. Now you get to know, and you're trying to retract that statement you made?
No, I don't retract anything.
Okay.
I was a candidate in a competition against Joseph Boakai. Before I decided, after I read my intelligence report, I read the public opinion polls that were done, I had the opportunity to sit with Joseph Boakai. It sealed the deal. Okay. He convinced me that he had the intelligence, the education, the experience, 40 years of experience, and doesn't have a record of corruption. What more am I looking for? Why would I continue to sell myself when we already have what we're looking for? Right. It's like, if you see what you're looking for in life, why continue looking? It's idiocy, and I'm not an idiot. Right. One thing for sure, MacDella Cooper is not an idiot. That's for sure. So I'm not retracting a statement I made.
All right. So,
but I didn't know Boakai.
You didn't know him.
I made a statement about him. But when I had a chance to sit with him and question him, even the vice running mate, Jeremiah Kwan-Kun, I spent 2 hours on the phone with Honorable Kun and questioned his intention for this country. And everything they said to me, they won my votes. That's what it's all about.
All right. Before I come to that, because I want to ask for instance, what Jeremiah Kun told you, whether it matched his records. But before I come to that, did you give other political leaders the opportunity to get to know them the way you sat with Boakai? Did you sit with Councillor Gonglo? Did you sit with Mr. Cummings?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. 100.
What did you find out?
Look, we're all in opposition. We have an agreement. We're not going to talk bad about each other. So your question is, but I will say this much.
What was the Boakai advantage?
Cummings didn't win my vote at all.
Why?
Cummings not ready for Liberia, and Liberian people are not ready for Cummings.
Why you say so?
Cummings doesn't have what it takes to lead Liberia right now.
Like
Cummings
what?
is smart. Yes, we get it. But he doesn't have the thing for the people. You see, leaders have a thing. Cummings doesn't have that thing. He doesn't have the it. He doesn't have the it. Cummings is a smart guy. He can work in any office. He can be a great minister. He can be a great ambassador. But Cummings doesn't have the it that the people look for in a leader. It takes time to build that. It takes time. Councillor Gonglo, smart guy. He doesn't have that it. Who else should I name?
I mean, I really want to know what is that itch that they don't have. For instance, people say, well, Cummings is not connected. He doesn't have his base. They can't really link him with an ethnic group or county. Is that what you're talking about?
No.
All right.
First of all, a leader is a person that when people study you, they learn about you, your experience, they're attracted, you automatically buy them. Right? There's something about you that just gets people. You don't have to pay them. Look at the people in 2017. I'll tell you for free. I will tell you for free, Dennis. 2017, George Weah, I didn't have to pay nobody. Put walk from district number 17, came all the way to district number 10. You know the distance between district 17 and 10? A long distance. Because of the love for what they saw that it. They put work from District 17 all the way to District 10 for George Weah business. He didn't pay their way. He didn't buy that t-shirt. They came. He had that it. Now, the same thing is happening with Joseph Boakai today. Joseph Boakai not paying nobody way. He buying gas for nobody. He buying t-shirt. People are coming on their own to support this man because they know this is the right thing.
Madam Cooper,
And
that's what
is
we're
it from
supposed
me
to
that
do,
defines
to
it?
redirect the people, to really enlighten them, say, well, we're not sitting down waiting to see where the people go and say, well, because the people are doing this for free, so what is it? Because if they are making the wrong decision, if they are in the street, you came my mom, you came my power, vote for you, I'm going to go there and tell them, no, this man is a murderer, don't go there, right? That's what I'm expecting.
Well, look, you can try to. There are some things in life we can't stop, Dennis. There's some things in life you can't stop. When a people heart is for someone, you can't change their mind. When a people heart not for you, you can't change their mind. The people heart is not for Ellis Cummings. At least right now, maybe 20,
Maybe
20 something,
civic
but not
education
now.
is needed. Maybe civic education.
No, it has nothing to do with civic education, Dennis.
Okay.
You see, it's called in politics, we call it the pulse of the people. There's a pulse of the people. You have to feel it. You have to know if the pulse of the people are with you or not. And that's what some leaders fail to understand. And they're walking around, passing around, acting like they're going to be the next president, taking pictures, they're busting people in, paying people to come to their rallies, taking nice picture, lying to themselves, because they refuse to understand and accept that these people too have a will. And it is the will of the people that is granted to you through their votes. And then you then convert that into your political will to make things happen for the people. George Weah had that in 2017, but he lost it when the people gave him their will through their votes, and he didn't convert it into opportunities for the people. This is where he lost the people. And it's too late. It's 90 days to the election. There is no turning back. The people don't want a man. They don't want a man. So when you say the people, if you see the people running one direction and say, oh, you did this, you did it. Look, our song today, Joseph Boakai, we want a man, our president. You can't change that one. That one, no civil education can change it. That they want it, people want. You see what Liberia has done. We have done wrong, some ills in this country collectively. We as a nation, we have failed to educate our people. We have failed to make this country work for every citizen born to this nation. We have discriminated and focused on a small minority of the people. A small minority. We educate certain people, children. You got the right name. You in the right, you know, the right connection. All these things. Liberia should be a nation focused on diversity, opportunity for all.
Right.
If we did that, if our forefathers, our founding fathers, all the way to now, Liberian people will be able to make decisions in a different way, not just based on the pause that we talk about.
Right.
The pause is always a good thing, but then logic, right? Reasoning, logic, those things have to come in place too. Because when you have the masses who are being neglected by its government, by its nation, what else do you expect the people to do? The people go by the pause. And I will tell you right now, Dennis, for free on this show, on this day, and you can quote me. And I'm sure it wounds a lot of people when I tell them that the candidate is not the choice of the country. I've never made a mistake. I don't know too many candidates I supported where the laws. I don't have that track record yet. My track record is on point. And so and this is why I feel we can work with Joseph Weah Boakai as the next president to put these rules and laws in place. You have all of these rescue lawmakers and senators who are on course with this agenda. Education is mandatory for all Liberians born to this nation. Healthcare access. Joseph Weah Boakai talks about access to healthcare. How can we get Liberians to pay small amount of money so they can have access to health insurance, that when they go to a hospital, they're not turned down just because of a small illness and they lose their life? He wants to find solution to that problem. And for me, that's what our people need.
People. Thank you. And that's why you endorsed Joseph Weah Boakai. And this is what you said when you endorsed him. Majority of the population cannot even afford school fees because of those 7 in position of power who are taking their children and other close relatives to foreign schools with the taxpayers' money. With all of the struggles that our nation has been going through, I believe that Honorable Joseph Newman Boakai will be the one to heal its wounds. Where is, with that belief, where is the history of Mr. Boakai doing just that?
Huh? Look, you're a very good researcher because you're pulling out things that I didn't even know existed. But you're. I will give this to you, Dennis. You're very good. You're an amazing journalist.
Thank you.
So when you ask about Joseph Boakai's track record, it's there. The track records are there. I have his bio. I can share it with you.
Right.
This man ran a corporations in Liberia, right? And he has a track record. We cannot diminish that. He served 12 years in a successful government. He was the second on the ticket, of course. So he wasn't the number one making decisions.
Okay.
Was he ever accused of corruption? No. Was he ever accused of misusing the power granted to him? No. When he left his office, he left a report on everything he received and everything was leaving. How many people do that? Or how many people will do that? Honorable Boakai has a track record. And that we can never diminish. He has wisdom.
I watched you when you were part of the Lapa Revolution when
right
now Senator Boakai, when that thing was going on. We didn't hear anything from Mr. Boakai or the Unity Party. So where's this track record? Let's talk about Mr. Boakai's track record defending what you stood for in the Lapa Revolution.
Now, this is an interesting, Dennis, because Honorable Boakai doesn't have to agree with everything I agree with. Yeah. He doesn't. He has a right. He has things that he.
But I have not really seen him fighting for women the way you did.
Well, he's not a woman, unfortunately. What he has an agenda to fight for our country. I'm a woman in a space that is dominated by men, right? Boakai, look, the first thing he did, he picked Senator Jeremiah Kuhn, to be his running mate.
No, let's talk about Boakai time, right? What did he do when the devil was carrying the ballots?
No, I'm going to speak to that. He was not a vice president, and I'm sure if he was, he would.
No, he was.
No. Let's get this right. Unity Party got Boakai out of the bush. Joseph Newman Boakai sent people in the bush to get Boakai out of the bush. It was his doing. It wasn't George Weah doing.
I didn't read
it
about
wasn't
that.
the women revolution doing. It was Joseph Boakai that sent people from Unity Party to go in the bush to take the one out to carry her to safety. So sometimes we say kuku jumuku until you inside you know. But
because we don't hear him talk about it.
Right, because it's just not. I'm the women of this country have to fight for the rights of women in support and collaboration.
We have to fight. That's why I fight. Right. So I want to see that energy in Mr. Boakai.
So this is what I was saying. He picked Jeremiah Kuhn as his running mate. I'm going to come to Boakai.
Okay.
From there, the next person that the old man went to speak to was Yomni Kanga Lawrence.
And we know why, because Yomni was disenchanted by the picking of Jeremiah Kuhn.
Look, politics is number. There's no emotion in politics. Mm-hmm. You look at the numbers in Nimba County, and I'm sure that wasn't his only reason. But from my perspective, Nimba has 308.
And we'll talk about that, about this so-called vote rich, for which you can pick a vice president from Bapolu or from River G.
Look, you gotta be smart, my man. You gotta pick vice president based on whether the person can help you carry the ticket or the person can bring you votes to win the campaign. Look, when we discuss politics, one thing we have to all know, if you has journalists or has civil servants or has politicians, we have to leave emotion out the door. There's no feeling inside. We have to talk facts, numbers, and that's it. So there's no emotion. Oh, the paper is supposed. No, the numbers matters. Yomni Kanga Lawrence is my sister. She's my friend. I adore that woman with everything I have in me. She's such a strong woman. I look at her and I admire her. She didn't care if she was a choice or not. Yes, at the first moment, there was a little sting because everybody hoped they'll be picked, but she's over it. And it's not the public's battle to fight for her because she's over it. She's a fighter. She's showing Liberian people, look. And there's a famous saying I always quote. It says, pain can be forgotten in the urgency of purpose. Let me tell you, we have an urgency of purpose in this country today. Liberia our children are dying from drugs. We got Kush, that's an evil spirit that's killing our children, transforming, deforming them. And who's bringing Kush in this country? You know. Now you got hospitals that's not functioning. You have a school system, an education system that's failing our young people. Yami Kanga Lawrence woke up from her pain and said, you know what? Liberia comes first. And I'm not going to sit here and sob like a baby over the fact that I was not picked. And this is something that other people need to take the lesson from her book, right? I'm not here preaching Yami Kanga Lawrence and her decision, but she is not bothered by the decision. Like I said, there was a slight moment when this steam was there, but she said, no, Liberia first. And this is a bandwagon we are all on. So when you say Joseph Yuma Boakai did not speak in the case of Botokanen, he silently, like a father would do, which he always does, he's quietly, wisely did what needed to be done to get Boto out of that situation. We, the women, came on board. We did the rest. Now, that was his participation, and we say bravo to him for that. The pick of Jeremiah Kuhn, we need the numbers. Nima County love Jeremiah Kuhn. Whether you twist it this way or twist it that way, they love the man. So will we let go of that? No.
All right. Still going to Mr. Boakai records. Because you see, it is one thing, and I for one, I'm not the one who will say like, okay, the votes are there. So because these days, even when they are picking campaign manager, they go to vote rich county. So River G has no chance, Bapolu has no chance, Sino has no chance of getting anything because they are not vote rich. I think we should look in a different direction, look for competence, look for what the country needs, and because the more we run after votes, we may be dancing with the devil.
What are you talking about, Dennis? You're a journalist. You're not a politician. You never ran for office.
How do you know that?
Look, election is about numbers.
Right.
You gotta have.
But if you put up the best candidate,
look, when you win, then you govern. That's why VSB, I'm sorry, SB Joseph Boakai always say. He always says we win and we govern. You can't talk about governing until we win. So you if you ran for office before, maybe that's why you didn't win. Unfortunately, Dennis, you needed numbers to win. And right now we're looking for everything that will help us win. You think we want CDC back in power? God forbid. God forbid. We don't want CDC back in power in this country. The country don't even want CDC. We've had 6 years of that. That's enough. So we're not going to take any chance and say, oh, Kumbaya, my Lord, Kumbaya, bring the people that feel sorry for them. No, it's about numbers. We need numbers to win. And so anything that can bring numbers to the table is the first thing we look for. So we need a VP from a vote-rich county. We need a campaign manager. Yummy Kanga Lawrence, Senator Yummy Kanga Lawrence is the chair on the campaign. Graham Bassa is on fire. He's on fire for this woman. She's gonna deliver Grand Bassa County. Let's talk about Monrovia County. Jairus Dillon. Haha. The giant in the room. Small, quiet, but a giant in the room. He's delivering Monrovia County. Nobody can take Monrovia from Jairus Dillon. And so we got what it takes to win. But we're not going to depend on that. We're going to depend on the fact that we still have the polls to go to. People still have to come and cast those votes before we do the victory dance. And so we need numbers, Dennis. We can't say anything else besides numbers in this game.
Numbers. So is it true that Mr. Boakai said he can dance with the devil because he needs those numbers?
Wait, say that again. Your internet was going in and out. Maybe it's mine.
It say Mr. Boakai was quoted as saying, I have no proof on this, that he can even dance with the devil to get the numbers. In other words, wherever the numbers are, there where you're going to go. Is Mr. Boakai going to dance with the devil?
He's such a gentleman, because I would have said it in a totally different way. If I have a case of frog, I'll case of frog to get the numbers. I mean, hello, it's about numbers. When you campaign, you try to get the highest number of voters on your side. That's the only way you win. So if you have to dance with a devil, you kiss a frog. There are people who picking VP that has nothing to bring to the table. I'm not going to call names here. They have absolutely nothing to bring to the table. They have not even delivered one political speech that the people were attracted to. And you make them your VP. You're not interested in winning. The Grand Bassa County belongs to Yami Kanga Lawrence and Senator Kape. Finish. Senator Kape is going to win a re-election. Jairus Dillon is going to deliver Monrovia County. Nima County, we already got that one from VSB Kuhn.
Mm.
Whereas Bon County, oh, don't forget it. The Papa said Prince
Mm.
Moi, Senator Prince Moi. We
So,
need the numbers.
so how many frogs have Mr. Boakai kissed
Oh
to
no, he
get these
got case
numbers?
for him.
Oh,
No, he got
oh,
case
okay.
for.
Oh,
He's taking a
do
future
the
yet.
kissing. But let's
But do
talk
the case
about let's talk about women issue because I know some of those things then that you stand for, right? The
right,
SGBV roadmap. The current government had a roadmap that by September last year, I mean, that SGBV roadmap ended and you didn't even hear a trace of it,
look,
right?
you probably have a
But
decent interview. Let leave the government out
no,
of
no,
the
no.
conversation.
But no.
Because you
What
get
the point I'm bringing there is we don't hear these things from politicians like Mr. Boakai. Okay, we are not holding the government accountable on some of these issues, like SGBV roadmap. I mean, our women are suffering.
right.
The violence, but
Yeah.
it's like top politicians are only responding when the person involved is a top dog, right? But I've not
Not
heard anything about
necessarily.
the SGV roadmap or the or Mr. Boakai holding the government accountable on these kind of things. I give you another example. The youngster who was brutalized on New Year's July 26th, right? Christopher Waters Sisuli civilly, and these guys were the one who did it. They were called to the police station, and since then, that case is nowhere to be found. I don't know if Mr. Boakai have said anything. When they closed Spoon TV, I mean, within minutes, Mr. Boakai was all over it.
Right. Then so sometimes when things become a brain drain, I have to answer in like brain because that's my most comfortable place to talk.
Yeah,
Yeah.
let's do it.
Yeah. So I want to talk about the brain drain I'm having right now with regards to the direction we're going with the interview. Now you have to understand the structure of government. This particular government, this is a dictatorship. They have appointed the police director. They have appointed most of the courts. They have appointed all the people that was supposed to go lay complaint to. Why did we in this country celebrate the U.S. ambassador for taking a stance and speaking up against some of the ills that people are doing? Because they own the government. You understand, Dennis? This is not in America where the agencies are independent. You go to the police station, even that congressman rape you, that congressman will be trial, if found guilty based on evidence, will be sentenced to pay the penalty. Like, bro, don't function that way, unfortunately, because when you put president in a place here, this particular president, the man took all the power. He the one made decision on everything in the country. And so we don't have independent agencies. The agencies want to be independent. Let's make that very clear. But unfortunately, the appointees on the top, they are working at the will and pleasure of their leader. So if we go right now, there are very few. Let me say this. There are very few people in leadership in this country you can go to that will stand with you just because they respect rule of law. But when we talk about rule of law doesn't exist in this country, there's so many things that happen here. Who you going to?
Mm.
Who you going to? Look at the police officer. Didn't even getting paid. The police officers not even getting paid. They're on the street in their house on their uniform getting washed from the sun. Imagine what happened to their skin. They ain't even getting paid. The border patrol officers not getting paid. The drug dealers are bringing all the drugs in the
Right.
country. The airports. Look at it. Look at the airports. Our own international airport. Who look at the situation there. The people that corner all our agency put their own side put in there to operate the way they want to put it operate. So there's no rule of law. There are even the few good ones who are appointed by this president. The few good ones, they're trying their best. The moment they do something good, just neutrally good, they get reprimanded by Jefferson Kochi. Because and he's the paramilitary for the president. He
So
forget he mayor in
what
the
do we
country.
do? Just wait
We
until
get them
October
out.
20th?
We got 3 months to do the democratic thing. Vote them out. So you show the picture of the young man who was vandalized and beaten badly by those seditionists. That Jefferson Kochi will come and go to the same Jefferson Kochi that train and do the kind of thing. That they will come and go to. Look at what happened at Prince Johnson Church the last time. You send people. I don't care what your opinion is about the person in the pulpit. You send people in the house of God to go disrupt it. Who will come and go file police report on now that the police director who's appointed by Weah? You know, it's you got this country under this government has left everyone to take matters into their own hands. And some of our gangsters, so we know how to take matter in your hand, you bring it, I bring it. You roll it, you dance it, I dance it. But it's not every like Brent says in God, the gangster attitude like some of us. Because don't forget, someone live in the worst cities in this world. We learn some things then. So they bring it, we bring it. You know it, I know it. Hey, so I'll leave that one there. I won't say too much on that. But when you talk about why people are not speaking, you can talk from now to Judgment Day. Your tongue in your muscle will start yelling at you, say, my attire. They're not going to do nothing. The few good people that will try to do something, they will get caught and say, oh, you supporting opposition, eh? You giving license play, eh? You letting any MTA bus were across the street yesterday. CDC has some kind of program. All the MTA bus was scattered there. Where is the funds that left from their CDC headquarters to go to MTA to pay for those buses? They do that. They leave people to take care of their own matters.
Thank you.
And the citizens are afraid. The citizens they have no direction. We don't have leadership in this country. We don't.
Right. I hope we test our court system. But here's my question. Quite recently, Henry Pedro Costa, who has been a confidant of Mr. Boakai, he took almost 1 year to insult other political leaders like Mr. Alexander Cummings. And some say that was at the acquiescence of Mr. Boakai because he said nothing. Now, Henry Costa is coming out and is swinging. He said Mr. Boakai was prospecting with this alleged $30 million. And he said a whole lot of things about what happened during their strong relationship. I mean, as a journalist, when I used to try to get to speak to the old man, everybody pointed to, you have to talk to Costa. Now Costa is talking. Should Mr. Boakai answer to those allegations specifically?
I think Joseph Boakai, in his place of wisdom, has already answered to those allegations.
He said he forgave the man. Is that a way of trying to say, absolutely, I don't want to go there?
Absolutely. I think he did excellent. I think his response it's like caviar. It was perfect. He didn't say anything more than what he said. Let the young people, you see when you at the age of Boakai, you use wisdom more than action. With the young people, we fire by fire. You punch me, I punch you. You slap me, I slap you. We believe that thing they say. Bible say when you slap you, tell the other thing. No, we're not telling no other thing. But you see, Boakai is a daddy. He's a grandpa. How many things your children have said to you? Mom, you do this. Mommy, I don't love you anymore.
But this is serious, right?
Let me land on this one. He said, I forgave my son. Tomorrow, a different day. But I don't need to say all today. Let Henry Costa say all he want to say. Children got a different way of processing hurt than older people. Older people know tomorrow that hurt may be changed. So Henry Costa he said what he want to say. He said what he want to say. The person he was saying these things about says, I forgive you. That's it. I think Boakai did perfect.
Right. Some are saying Costa, being who he is, may have recordings. And so Mr. Boakai doesn't want to go down that path, deny those things. And if Costa proved them, then he become, embarrassed. And that's why. And listen to what Musa Belete is saying. And I think you should. He said, during the CPP crisis, Costa had more influence over JNB than all the UP officials combined. You cannot be silent on what he says about you now. Your silence makes the story even more credible. Or is it that you are afraid he may produce evidence to back up his statement if you deny it? As a presidential candidate, you cannot afford to have this hanging over you. Does Musa have a point here?
Look, Musa Belete and his partner Alex Cummings believe that Boakai's ticket or Boakai's team is their biggest challenge. So I don't welcome anything Musa Belete has to say about my candidate. Unfortunately, I have no interest in even hearing what they have to say because their focus is off. Their focus is off. Their focus should be on George Weah, who is the one that's destroying this country. Well, they think they're going to go in the second round they'd rather go in the second round with Weah than us. And we're gonna go in the second round with whoever who beat them. So Musa Belete made his statement that he own 15 minutes of fame there. I leave it to him.
All right. Let me ask you this question, and then I'll put up our WhatsApp number because there are people in overseas who wants to call.
Right.
If you are in the US, you will call the conference line. If you're overseas, we have a WhatsApp number. Just give me 5 minutes. So after you respond, then we can put our WhatsApp number so that they can start calling. Uh, Prince Johnson had been making statements. The UP secretary too had made a statement. He said, if they want war, we'll give them war, right? Prince Johnson has had I said many things. Some of those include his vitriol against people from the Southeast. Prince Johnson, let us not forget, and he always talk, we are giving everything to the Southeast, 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 until sometimes I hear this, being from the Southeast, I'm afraid, right? Because he has a history when he was fighting his war of people were targeted based on where they came from, their tribal origin. I still remember some of the senators from Sino County were killed, allegedly killed by Prince Johnson. So when he is talking about Southeast and kind of preaching these hate messages, he also talk about people lifestyle, their children, and all that. Do you think there will come a time that Mr. Boakai will rein in this big supporter of his to at least say something, to say calm down, or publicly denounce him or repudiate those kind of statements that he's making?
Look, I cannot speak on behalf of Prince Johnson and what he says, Senator Johnson. I'm from the Southeast. I'm a Gribble more from Yakan River G County. I've been in several meetings with Senator Johnson. I never had any fear of him, doing anything to me, or as a matter of fact, we constantly have conversations. And my understanding is that Prince Johnson wants to win his Senate seat and move on with the work he does for Nima County. I don't think Prince Johnson is a threat to this country. I mean, I don't see it. The guy just turned 71. He celebrated his 71st birthday. Um, and so I think, look, to your question, everybody say stuff. It's We have to have a government, a nation in place that will deal with these action pieces. If there's a crime, we deal with those crime. We find the facts, we find the accusations and take it to the court. That's what we have to strengthen our courts. I'm not a person that's in charge of the country right now to say I'm gonna trial Prince Johnson for the things he say. We have got to strengthen our government to do things.
Mm.
If we feel whatever Senator Prince Johnson says is a threat, we go and lay those complaints to the right people who respect rule of law. But unfortunately, we have a country that doesn't respect rule of law under this leadership. Look, people get away with anything. So I will tell you for free, as a Gribble woman from the Southeast, uh, I don't feel threatened by Prince Johnson, Senator Prince Johnson at all. We work on a team together and we sit next to each other. I don't feel any threat from Prince Johnson. I don't think like Brentport should be afraid of Prince Johnson. Prince Johnson is not our problem. Our problem right now is George Weah and his den of thieves. Is his inability to move our country in the right direction. That's the fear we should have. We should be afraid of these paramilitary groups. They're training in the CDC yard and carrying them to the police academy to train them. That's the threat we have on hand right now. And the Prince Johnson factor, I'm not going to dwell on it, but Prince Johnson, whether you like it or not, he's been a major a part of every decision in every election that has happened over the past,
Right.
I don't know, 20 years.
They call
So
that pay to play.
Support, and when somebody else wants Prince Johnson support, to go and fight that person. So
Right. The USA that's pay to play. I don't know if that's true.
What is it?
The USA that's pay to play. That's why he's been engaging in. Is that true?
Well, I can't speak for Senator Prince Johnson. He's a man with his own voice and can speak for himself. But
Yeah,
it's someone who, like I said, I work with, and I have a lot of, I have a lot to say about his work ethics and his love for his people. He loves his people. I wish every people. I mean, every county had people who are a person who would represent him like that.
Yeah.
Wish our senators. We work with a lot of senators, and I see these people have passion for the country, but they're so limited. The counties, they're so limited. And Prince Johnson does it in an aggressive way. He does it in a different way than most people are accustomed to.
Right.
But I see Prince Johnson has not been a problem in the Boakai's government. I don't see that.
He calls Mr. Cummings a gay. He calls Charlene Brumskin lesbian, and he said all kinds of things that I can't even repeat on radio.
It's okay. We can repeat it.
Especially for women on the campaign, are people going to repudiate this guy someday or no?
For what? For expressing his opinion? We all have a look. People call me.
Okay.
They tell me all kinds of things, right? He has rights to his opinion.
What's
Donald
about
Trump sat
Secretary
in America
Pue?
and insulted everyone, but people still supported him.
Yeah.
Right? Donald Trump caused an insurrection. He still got supporters. What's the difference between that and what Prince Johnson is doing? Donald Trump caused an insurrection in the United States
he's indicted for that.
He's still running for president.
Yeah,
he still is running for president. He's indicted on different charges, and he's still running for president. So the reality is, Senator Prince Johnson, is entitled to his opinion to call whoever he thinks is this and that.
Okay.
People call me names. People call him name. People call you name as a journalist. People who are just haters. So he calls Alex Cummings what he wants to call Alex Cummings. Alex Cummings is in competition with him right now. Right? Alex Cummings is in competition with a candidate of Prince Johnson's choice. So of course there's going to be some political name calling.
And also about Tua, say if the one war, I mean, I'm afraid of war. The last time I was in Monrovia and just going through Carway, I was terrified because I was there around, and this guy is say if they want war, we'll give them war. Are they trying to scare us here?
Who you say Samuel 12?
Amos Tua, your UP party secretary.
Amos Tua is one of the most gentle human beings you will ever meet. I love that boy.
Man, you love all these guys and they're talking all kind of things.
No, Amos Tua is a gentle soul. But you see, when you're on the campaign trail, we gotta fire up our people who are angry with this failed government. Okay. These are the same people who put this government in place. They're angry. And so what do? You tell the people you stand with them.
You give them the red meat.
Get in the red meat and meat
you kill the frog. You dance with the devil.
That's why it's not going to cause war anywhere. But he's talking about political battles. We talk about political battles. Okay. We talk about, look, if they think they're gonna win, we're gonna fight them. It's a political. It's a democratic war. It's not. He's not gonna cause war. Amos Tua has no access to anything that's gonna cause any harm to Liberia.
All right. If you are overseas, please call my WhatsApp number so you can participate in the conversation. For those here in the States, you're gonna call our conference line, but we want our overseas participant to call in. I mean, I'm getting so many calls and text messages. You said you were going to call, so please, if you are there overseas, please call the number on this. And if you are in the States, Europe, or Canada, please call our conference line, and we're going to open that in a minute. Mr. Boakai put out his anti-corruption agenda, right? All right, let me take this. I hope this is overseas call. You're not going to trick me here. Hello?
Hello?
Your name and where you calling from?
My name is Benedict Phillips, and I'm calling from Northern Virginia, United States.
My man, you got to call the conference line. This line is only for overseas callers. But
hey, Mama, I beg you.
Okay, go 30 seconds.
Okay, thank you so much. Look, I just wanted to say how very refreshing it is to hear the political state of mind of our guest. Look, the lady is very eloquent. It is refreshing to hear her and her backing of whoever politician she's backing. I am very proud of all of what she said and pointing towards Liberia's future. My only question to her is, where does she see herself in the upliftment of Liberia in the future? What part of the Liberian political sphere does she see herself placed to make meaningful contribution? As I know, she's eloquent, she's smart. I think she has the political wit to be anything.
Eloquent alone doesn't cut it, man.
No, that was you. That was it.
My compliment away. What kind of boy so?
So on top of that,
Madam Cooper, I mean, that usually, we hear these different interviews with people, and after 3 minutes, you're turned off. You are keeping the people really listening and pretty much aware. This is refreshing to hear. And
thank you.
I don't know if you ever run for president or something, but you got a future in Liberia. It just seems like she's different from a lot of people who've been running for office or other things. I just admire
thank you, Ben.
eloquence, her stature, everything right now.
Thank you.
Madam Cooper, the next time I'm in Liberia, I'm going to look for you wherever you are to give you a handshake.
Thank you, Ben. That's why you should keep watching Focus on Liberia, because you don't get this anywhere else. Everywhere else is just noise, and I can tell you that for free. Madam Cooper, where do you see yourself in the future Boakai government? Let me. I'm adding to his question.
Right, like Honorable Boakai always say. He said, "Let's win, and then we govern. We'll decide once we've won."
And Benedict was asking you about your future in Liberian politics.
The people will decide. I just have to. I'm here to serve. I left everything that I once knew in the Western world, came home to serve my people, to serve my country. I started off in philanthropy and humanitarian, built schools for young people, educating young people, giving them housing, education, healthcare. I'm here to serve. Today I can show 20 years worth of work. Young people who I took off the slums and streets, they're in college. They're some of the best colleges in Liberia and across the world. I'm proud to have done that, to see my life yield to that. So I'm here to serve wherever I'm needed, wherever the people ask me to go. It's all what I'm going to do. I will keep my ambition close to the pulse and the will of the people.
Okay. Again, if you are overseas, please call the number that's on the screen, 6978, or you put a 1. Actually, I never call myself. I never call anyone from. It's 1978. Sometimes I'm not sure whether the number's coming. Call out your name and where you calling from.
My name is William Davis, and I'm sorry, I'm calling from Minnesota, USA.
Please call the conference number. Please call the conference number. We have more people on the conference line, and then we're gonna do that. Madam Cooper, Mr. Boakai, when heard that Spoon Network was closed, he made a statement. Do you think Mr. Boakai had all the facts to say what he said? And let me put on the screen what exactly Mr. Boakai said, because I like to go by the book.
Right.
Oh my God, I lost it. All right. But he's in essence, he's saying that hey, people did this because the government did this. And this is he said this is one of the casualty. The government does not like dissenting views, so they went and closed the station. Do you think Mr. Boakai have all information? Do you think he has enough information to make that call?
That is my boy. I begin. Yeah. You say when the Papa says something, you say Papa says something. When the Papa says something, you say Papa says something wrong. I wish my Papa would do now. If you leave you the Papa not say nothing. Now,
if you want to pay me to begin your boy, old man.
It is by looking you're not American living in and making you look young. You enjoy life America too much. No, on a serious note, Dennis, look, Spoon Television has been here for all of us. Spoon TV has been here for all of us. It has become a part of the Liberian society. It has become the source that we all turn to for news. Whether is for us or against us, we all turn to Spoon TV, right? And stations like yours as well. As you said, I've been on your station several times.
Hold on, Madam Cooper. Sorry to interrupt you. Let me take a call from Liberia. The data is harmonized there. Call out your name and where you calling from.
My name is Albert Kennedy. I'm calling from Liberia. And the rescue agent have just said it all. And you know that we need better Liberia, and the team is the team that we can trust. And let me say thank you to the rescue auntie, Madam Cooper. And that's why we believe in her so much. And we also look up to her for directions. I'm on her team, and we are working together. So let me say thank you. Keep the hard work. Rest assured that we're going to rescue this country, and we'll give it back to Liberia. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for calling.
Yes.
Okay.
Madam Cooper, your response.
Well, that's it. That's the opinion of the vast majority of the people in the country. So, you know, the rescue team has, Honorable Boakai has done a great job assembling the best. You know, they hate us. They say they man recycling people. They man bring all the open. Look, people with experience. You can call them all the names you want, but they have experience. And I wish Weah would have looked for people with experience instead of bringing his friends into governance and government. Right. So we're looking for people with experience, and we're looking for some innovators, some innovative minds, and young people with different and new, fresh ideas. We're going to have a collective force to move this country in the right direction. Liberia is suffering. Look, Dennis, we watched a video of VSB Kun at the birthday celebration fundraiser of Senator Yomi Ganga Lawrence, showed us a video of what this drugs that's being brought to our country called Kush, what it does to our young people. And it's dangerous to our young people. When that stuff takes you, there is no return. Do we not want a future for our young people? Do we not want a future for Liberia? Because the young people are the future. And you have a president who thinks it's okay to deal drugs to our young people. You have a president who should understand the plight of the poor people and is sitting down and acting like the biggest. It made a word I want to use it because it will cause controversy on your show. We people talk about it bad way. This man who's supposed to be the heart of the people, today he getting fat and fat. He used to be a football player. Look at the man belly. And I'm not disputing anybody who get belly because it's an attractive thing in Africa. They may not move on sportsmen eating so much. They may get horses here, look and live in. They may get cars. They may get houses in Ghana, businesses. He will not bring job to like, bro. What kind of George Weah? How wicked are you, President George Weah? The man is a wicked human being. He doesn't like this country. And then we, the people of this country, must look at him and be stupid to go put him back for 6 years again for wetting because we lie what's that. So you say, people say, oh, they be doing till time. People say, oh, no. Like people are smarter today than they were yesterday. Because you had these young people, 18 years old, who are saying that's how I vote for you. To those people, those children get families now. They got children, they got a wife, they got houses. They got a house to take care of, household. And so the thing that the young people were looking at yesterday, they're not what they're looking at today. We don't want this wicked president in power anymore. George Weah got to go. I'm sure you've heard our song, We Are Go, We Tired, Go. We sing that song. They try to play that song in the CDC yard the other day. They try to get a different version of it. I said, look at clapping.
Let me take a call from the Queen's Land. Max Mixer Pacquiao, calling from London, right? Yeah. Go ahead, Max.
Yeah, Dennis, I'm calling from London. Thank you very much. Thanks for the show. And let me say hello to Focus on Liberia as well. Madam Cooper, good afternoon. Good evening to you from this end. First of all, thank you for, again, coming on the platform. I got a couple of questions to ask. The first question is, when I established it, then I can build a link. Is your political party part of the movement that is now moving along with the Unity Party as consortium?
Alliance. We're an alliance. Yes,
alliance.
We're part of the alliance.
Quickly, we got more people. So yes.
Okay, alliance. Okay then. In 2017, you contested as well, which I appreciated you quite a lot. We met on the tribes. You did not. I think you did not. Okay, I mean, we went for a second round. In 2017, which political party did you support? And in these 2023 elections, I see that you are now with an alliance with the Unity Party, with other political parties as well. Why have you decided to join an alliance this time around, especially with the Unity Party and other political parties. Thank you very much. I'll continue to listen to you.
Thank you. Madam Cooper, if you can just jot that down, I want to take a few callers from the U.S. The first one is Eliana. Eliana, you are live. Go ahead. Eliana Negasa, you are live.
Hello.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, we're listening. Eliana. I don't know why. Let me take Elvis Morris. Elvis, you are live. Uh-oh.
I'm here. I'm here.
Right. I don't know why I can't hear them. Elvis, are you there? Oh, okay. The call dropped. All right. So you can respond to Mike's question why I reconnect the call.
Can you repeat Mac's question for
Right.
me again?
Mike, we talked about it. He said, you in 2017 you endorsed Weah. Why are you in alliance with the UP this time?
Well, different election. And like I said at the beginning of the show, in 2017, after I got out of the race, the first round, didn't make it to the second round, we, the political leaders, was the right thing to do to lead our flocks into one direction out of the two directions. The two directions were Joseph Boakai or George Weah. The writing was on the wall at the time that Weah was going to win this election. We have seen the reports, we have seen the statistics, the polls, and there was no question Weah was going to win this election. And so my young people came to me and said, look, it only makes sense that we support, the winning ticket. Not just the ticket of our choice, but the winning ticket. And so we went to support Weah. And that was the choice of the people then. We supported the will of the people, even in my own camp. And I think, Dennis, was also you that asked me if my team was in accordance or were together on this decision. Right. And my team also at this time says, look, it makes sense for us to support Joseph Boakai because it's obvious he's going to be the winner of this election. And so I don't regret. Right. Do you have a call?
Yeah, I have a few callers here. Some are even dropping. Evans Morris, you're live. Let's see what happened this time.
Are you getting me?
Yeah.
Thank you, and thank you for taking my call. And hello to Madam Cooper. I was a little hesitant to call, but I said, let me call and ask, for some clarification. Is it true that you have a child by President Weah, or is that just a rumor? And then secondly, to our knowledge, you haven't won any political seat or even been elected to a political office in Liberia. Or I think you serve in some capacity. Maybe you can let us know that. But politically, we want to know what kind of political cash you have in the country.
Right. Let's keep.
Then when you're talking about,
let's keep the discussion on that. Right. Let us not talk about children because the women will get on me because we don't ask men those kind of questions. Hey, who you have child by? So let's leave the children business and talk about the topic.
Maybe the male vote maybe know who are born child for. Maybe you vote for me. That's why he asking the question for.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Well, my last point is, I think she claims to be an activist, a woman activist, and like you said, you rightly pointed out, Chris Johnson has insulted women. She's insulted other people about their sexuality, and she brushed it off as nothing. So is she truly a woman activist, or like most other women who claim to be activists, who want to act, will try to fight for other people if that person is close to them.
Thank you.
When it's on their side of the political aisle, it acts like nothing is happening. So can she criticize Prince Johnson for calling Charlene Bromsky a lesbian?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'll write that down and let me go to our next caller here, a wireless caller. Your name and where you calling from? 612 area code.
Yes, my name is Andrew, and I'm calling from Delaware.
Go ahead, Andrew.
Yes, I think the last caller asked some important question that I'm curious to know, and I wouldn't mind if Madam Cooper, I appreciate her really being out here because we have to know the leaderships that we have, the leaders, the people that are going to represent us. And if we are confused, I think it is our utmost duty in order to, make some inquiries and things. Now, and then I'm also aware that she knows, or even, you as a journalist know that coming into the public or being a public figure, meaning that you really do not have a private life. Because at some point in time, you can be, your life can be dug into, and definitely things can come out. Like, for instance, we see going on with Donald Trump today. So, in regards to what the brother asked, the first question, I think it's only fair enough, Madam Cooper, clear our doubts, because there's a common saying: you cannot be sleeping in bed with the devil, and you criticizing the very devil you are sleeping in bed with.
Andrew,
in short,
Andrew, I don't want the direction. I don't want us to go in that direction to ask people who you slept with, who you have child by, who you are friends, because these are not the questions we ask all our guests, right? So let's stick with the issue and don't go into children. I don't think having.
Okay, my brother, I just use that as a parable or saying,
right.
Not really like being insulting or
no insult. Just ask the question quickly so we can move to the next question, please.
So,
Dennis, by the way, full disclosure.
I'm really curious in order to put my faith in her. I'm curious to know her connection with President Weah in regards to what the brother just asked.
Thank you. Let me take the last caller here. And Eliana was on the call. She dropped. There's a young woman. I want to see her perspective. Madison Camon, go ahead, sir.
Hey, Mr. Dennis John. How you doing, sir? And how you doing, Madam Cooper? It's nice seeing you again on this platform. Well, I just got two questions from Madam Cooper. One is that I don't know if she's in Liberia right now.
Yes, she is.
I am.
Yeah, Madam Cooper, being in Liberia, when you see the young people, gravitating to people who continue to suppress them, especially those in government, is there anything that comes to your mind just in case the election doesn't go your way? Like, if these people win the election, what becomes of the young people? Is there anything that comes to your mind that you're giving up on them, or like we're just going to let them suffer, or, because some of us, the honest side, we get frustrated, we see them after them, and we like, if you let them get in power, we're just going to let them be and let them suffer. I'm not saying we enjoy here, but whatever they're going through is not compared to people living in the diaspora. And then the last one is that on the issue of spoon, I don't want to look at it as, like what other people are saying. I want to see it like being a political issue. It's not really one individual. The whole thing is like being sponsored by the government. So, and I don't think it's going to open soon. Yeah, I don't think that station is going to open soon. Yeah.
Thank you. Maybe you know something we don't know. All right.
Yeah,
thank you, Madison.
Because we have, for example, we have something like the Good FM, Coastal Station, close, Punch, and they up to now they are not open yet. So I don't think it's going to open now. I don't think so.
Thank you.
All right.
Madam Cooper.
Right. And I was saying earlier, Dennis, that full disclosure, I'm a politician. I don't wear my emotions on my sleeves. People can ask questions as they please. This stuff doesn't move me. I have one focus. My focus is how can I leave a better Liberia for the future generation. That's my main thing. So people can come on this show and ask who are born child with, who I'm born child with. They also, they can ask all the questions and I respectfully answer them. Sometimes, like the young man said, I just need to know her because I want to put my faith in her. I want to know that she's, but the problem is I'm not here selling myself as a candidate, right? I'm not here promoting myself to say, oh, I'm a candidate for election. And so you want to know who I born child with. Look, I'm a gorgeous woman. I'm a beautiful woman. I even like myself. I'm looking at myself in your camera. I'm like, damn it, that woman look good, right? All jokes aside, I have my personal life. And when I put myself on a ticket to come and ask for the people's support, they got the right to ask me a question. And I have every right to decide if I answer or not. And you're absolutely right. And I like you for that, Dennis. What we don't ask the men, don't ask the women. Because I know these same guys will be afraid that if they ask another man, this man will punch them in the face. And so they wouldn't ask those men, they will go and ask a woman because they feel, oh, the woman will be offended. Oh, this is the wrong woman because I'm not offended by nothing people say. At the end of the day, I am still MacDella Cooper, and I still like myself because whose report do I believe? I think the people who know the answer to that knows what I'm talking about. So, long story short, the young man wants to know who I had children. Yes, I do have a son for George Weah. I had a couple of years relationship with George Weah that yielded into us to us having a son because I don't believe in abortion. I don't judge those who do, but I don't. And I'm volunteering to answer the young man's question, not by any reason or for any reason besides the fact that I think he's entitled to know. Because this is not news. This young man is probably somewhere in a place where he doesn't get information. Yes, I do have a son for George Weah, a beautiful young boy, almost 9 years old. Uh, and he's with me. And as a matter of fact, I should be one of those people that will come on this show and say, we should support George Weah. I'm not saying that because I know George Weah is not capable of running our country. He's not capable. So, yes, if I was able to carry a child 9 months in my womb for this man, and I'm telling this man is not capable, it is not a personal vendetta. It's not a personal vendetta. The man is incapable of leadership. And we have to separate it too. So if this young man is asking me, would I have a child for George Weah? I'm here bashing him. No, let's keep the two things separate, dude. Yes, there's a past relationship, which has been long over since 2014. There is a new, I have a beautiful husband or a handsome husband. He's a gorgeous man. We're in love. I'm married to him and we're sticking together. He's the father of my children. And even my 9-year-old son calls him father. So do you want to know more? I'm an open book and a young man is absolutely correct. We, the politicians, our lives are an open book and we shouldn't be afraid to share the things that the people want to know about us. But it's up to us to also answer if we want.
Right.
And it's up to us to answer if we don't want. So I'll move on from that question. And so when I sit here, I come with credibility to say, look, I should be the one saying to people, let's vote for George Weah. But I will say you the truth. This man has no plan for our country. He has spent 5 years in our country and nothing has changed. The roads leading to the airport is damaged. He decided to fix the road. He came campaigning on roads and what have you. And he has failed to be the road medicine he called himself. He came as a bad road medicine. The road medicine didn't work. He need to pack up that medicine and carry it with himself when he's leaving this country. He has to go. We need a new president that would make our country into what we want it to be. Education. We need education for all citizens born to this nation. Not just my children because I'm MacDella Cooper, I'm a prominent citizen. We need education for every child, even a child born in a palava hut in a village. We need education for that child. We need health care for our people. We need jobs for our men. Men are complicit when they don't work. God even made men and said, men go work the earth. Men need jobs. Today, we have lost more jobs in our country than we have brought because this particular president and his den of thieves do not understand the concept or ideas behind enticing investors to come to our country, to partner with us and to invest in our natural resources or our country across the board. They ask the people for too many kickbacks and these people are not going to do it. So they pack up their bags and go to other countries. Look at Bio in Sierra Leone. Look at Ghana and Sierra Leone. I mean, Ghana and Ivory Coast and all these countries. They're light years away. I just arrived from Ivory Coast 2 days ago. Beautiful country. I would love to see Liberia be better than Ivory Coast. And so, to the young man's question, I hope I was able to answer his question. If he should need my number, please feel free to give him my WhatsApp number, which I can call on your show if you don't mind me calling it. And those who want to get in touch, they can call me directly.
Thank you. I got a young woman here who also on the line, and that will be our last caller. Elena, go ahead. You are live. Eliana, are you
Hello,
there?
thank you.
Okay.
Yes. So the young gentleman, Elvis, he said exactly what I wanted to say. You say you're a woman activist, but you're working with the likes of PYJ that have insulted women. PYJ is a nightmare to people. You guys are making him out to be a hero. You guys are pushing the likes of PYJ when he killed many of our families. You seem very confused. One, to be a woman's activist, but pushing the likes of PYJ.
Wait, do I seem confused?
The face of J&B, just like the Weah government, they used his face to be able to push this narrative of being a president. And you see what we got? We didn't get anything. You guys are controlling this old man already. He was able to speak out about a radio closing, but he was not able to debunk the allegations that were spoken about him last week for the purpose of transparency for the Liberian people. Y'all should do stuff with integrity, because I'm starting to feel like the UP government is not doing things with integrity. Thank you.
Thank you, Elena.
Wonderful young lady. Wonderful young lady. May I continue? Or
Yes, you can respond to the young lady.
Oh, Aliana, look, it's wonderful to see a young woman calling this show. Usually we on these shows and we get questions from men, or and so I said bravo to you for buttering up the courage to call. But is it Iliana or Aliana?
Aliana.
Aliana, okay. Mm-hmm. I hear you and I understand your concern and your worry. But there's a difference with being in a diaspora and getting information versus those of us who are on the ground and living the reality here. Aliana, you're living a very comfortable life in the United States. You have agencies, whether it's food stamps or I don't know the conditions of your families or whatever, however you live in the US. You sound very educated and I appreciate that. But the privilege you have in the US to go to government school, to be protected by rule of law, to have access to, even if it's food stamps, we don't have that here in Liberia, Aliana. We don't have that, right? And those of us who are fighting the good fight for a better Liberia, so you guys can come home and experience your country and get to know your country, know your roots and where you're from, get to see your grandparents who cannot always come to the United States. We make decisions, and what you might be hearing, and I hope you're old enough or mature enough to be able to get your news, not just from they say, he said, she said, I say, but really, really, really talking to the people on the ground who are living on the ground, people who are working on the ground, my activism or my advocacy. Look, today I was with a bunch of young women, just like yourself. You sound like you're somewhere from the 17s to 25. I was with a bunch of young women who I've groomed to stand up for themselves, to speak up. I had a young woman who today is my youth chair named Rachel Bansing. When Rachel first came to me, she was an intern in my office. And she said to me, "Oh, mommy, me and the politics here, me, I want to be inside." Oh, today's Rachel Bansing. She's leading the youth. She's a youth chair for the political party which I run. And so when you're on the ground, Alian, it's a different reality here, darling. My daughter, there's a different reality. So don't say we supporting Prince Johnson. Prince Johnson abuse. Have you sat to ask why Prince Johnson called this person this name? Look, sometimes you may not get that answer, but you want to do your research. Take a trip to Liberia when you have a chance. Let's put a new government in place first. Joseph Boakai government, I guarantee you, I promise you, Aliana, will be a much better government than George Weah government. So don't sit there and come on the air and fight for something you don't fully understand. That's you should not practice that. You sound like a smart young woman, and I wish to meet you one day. And like I said, I'm gonna leave my number on this show. for those who want to have a further conversation with me, I'm happy to do that. And with Dennis' permission, I will give that number.
Yes, please. If that's okay with you, I'm fine with it.
Right. So it's can I say it?
Yes, say it and I'll write it.
Write it. Okay, so
let's
it's plus
start with
231.
Oh, okay, because you didn't start with
Plus
zero. That
I don't
zero
do
can
zero.
really annoy me. I don't.
Right, because you're not in country, so you can dial them directly. So it's plus 231 7702 99010. Plus 231 7702 99010. And that's a WhatsApp number too. So when you do call me and you don't get me on the phone, just send me a WhatsApp and I will respond. Because I want to help my brothers and sisters in the diaspora, because the 3 individuals that call to ask those questions, you can't just watch one show and get your news from it. You have to read the local papers. You have to talk to local people as well to get the real facts. Because one thing, the shows we come on here, we talk one thing, and then you have to compare it to other papers to make sure you get the best of all. So don't miseducate yourself. You're in a country where you have the better chance to educate yourself, inform yourself, be in the know, get the facts. And so you can call these shows and insult some of us, but look, it doesn't matter because we know you haven't been home in a long time. You live in a foreign land, but I know if you had a chance, you would be home with us. And that's why we are trying to create a country that works for Liberians in the diaspora and Liberians living at home, because the folks in the diaspora cannot only be good enough to send their money for families back home. They should also be able to come here and compete and serve and earn. So we are trying to build a country, and the decisions we make, you guys have to trust us. It's kukujimuku. When you're not in it, you don't know it. When we sit on these shows and tell you these are the leaders we're selecting, we're supporting, we are here based on facts, based on research and data, based on intelligence. Those things, any decision that's made apart from that, it's emotional decisions, and I don't engage myself in emotions. I don't. Emotions don't put money in my bank account.
Thank you. And if you want to call Madam Cooper, the number is 231-77-029-9010. Madam Cooper, thank you very much for your time. I've kept you for over an hour, 30 minutes. I really appreciate your time. And I want us to have the conversation again. People love to listen to you.
I would love to be back. Anytime you tell me, I'll be on here again.
Thank you. Any closing comments before I let you go?
Well, Dennis, thank you for the wonderful work you're doing with Focus on Liberia. I think it's one of the media houses that I particularly enjoyed listening to. And, as we get the news on the ground, it's good to have people on here, those of us who are on the ground, to come and speak to you, to share the reality of what's happening on the ground with our folks in the diaspora. And so it's a pleasure, and I appreciate it, and I look forward to being back.
Really appreciate your time. Thank you so much for coming, joining us all the way from Nyanyakan to come here and talk to us. Until then, we close with our song that says, "We are all Liberians." No matter the party you support or your political persuasion or the ethnic group or the religion you come from, we are all Liberians. What is very important for all of us is to make Liberia the greatest country and the glorious land of liberty. Have a good day and God bless you.
We are Liberians.